and it was exactly what we were expecting to see, right? Nobody wants to play against Yamato right now, even though they changed the shadow transformation to you can get killed in it, right? It's still, you get so much resistance. Your power-ups are just so strong, so you're just like, all right, let's not deal with that, let's find something else. I'm expecting maybe another sort of burst carry, so maybe the Infernus, maybe Paradox, and Wraith seems to be one of those, recommended heroes that is really powerful right now, so I think that might be the one next off the board.
Yeah, Wraith is definitely a ban that I've seen a lot of. I've also seen bans on enemy team comfort picks, but we don't know that. So we're just going to ban what's really stupidly strong right now. And that's going to be the Paradox. Paradox, honestly, the pretty much guaranteed either pick or ban right now. There is not a game that I've seen where a Paradox isn't in the ban list or in the pick list. If there's a Paradox to be had, it will be had. So I like that we're seeing that. I think that outside of that, Viscous is another big ban if we're still talking about those. But now we're into the picks. And, with Paradox and Yamato being gone, usually teams will come out swinging with their high damage output because there's not too many DPS in the game right now. So we should start seeing people lock in the Infernus, lock in the Abrams, maybe even lock in the Shiv or Mirage here. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And I think Abrams, especially in a pug like this, is a really good pickup because a lot of people start out with that character. They don't have too many abilities. They only have a couple of active items that they really like to use. So it's a character that a lot of folks can just readily hop into. So I'm sure there's a comfort pick for somebody on Vellication over here. Love to see it. The opener on the other side, though, Lash and Wraith. That is a massive sign that we're here to do some damage.
Yeah, Lash Wraith. One thing that I saw recently that is such a stupidly potent combo is actually Lash plus Dynamo. His ultimate can grab everybody in front of him and put him in a very small area. And who is good for that? That's going to be the Dynamo. But on the enemy team, we do need to see some more support picks being locked in and damage. So Vindicta, that sniper, being able to get these picks down on the players that are low, trying to run away. And of course, the Ivy, just a very solid, probably the second strongest support in the game right now, followed just behind or just with Viscous right next to him. Honestly, I like this, but again, the meta right now is you want to lock in those DPS first. So over here on the team 1000 Neko Score, locking in the pocket for their team, another high damage with a lot of escape potential, while the other team, Vellication, is going to be mousing over and then immediately locking in the McGinnis, another support style role. So they're lacking a lot in that damage department.
Yeah, I tend to agree with just Vindicta right now as kind of being like the gun carry. She can go spirit build if you're working on the Crow familiar, but I really do like the McGinnis pickup in counter to the pocket to the Lash, because she's sort of like that counter dive, right? Okay, let me put some turrets down, let me wall you off, you're not going anywhere, brother, you're fighting me now. So I really think that McGinnis is a great pickup. And then we start over here with Neko Score. They're picking up the Kelvin. That's one of the supports that are left. I want to see Dynamo. Dynamo has kind of fallen out of favor recently, my friend. I'd really like to see one of these teams pick him up. He's one of my favorite characters in the game, but for now, Kelvin, so much utility, can put down the frozen shelter over the rejuve, really lock some people in for some of these skirmishes, especially if you got a Lash in there. It helps with the affliction too. You can kind of wombo combo that, so a really great pickup for them.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking over at Team 1000 Neko Score. This is a team that I already know has been following the meta pretty close, because their team comp is like, okay, they're doing exactly what I'm seeing here at our, big events that have been going on outside of collegiate, just straight up, just esport Deadlock. You look at this, and that's the team that they're going to be having. So honestly, the answer to this now is, okay, we have the Abrams, we have the Vindicta, we have a little bit of damage, but we're still not doing enough, especially when there's a Kelvin on the enemy team. That healing with their ultimate is just too dang strong. You need something to counter that. So Mirage still on the table here. You also have a potential for Shiv, 7 as AoE, and of course Infernus hasn't been locked in yet. Infernus, pretty much the biggest counter to Kelvin with his ultimate. Will we be seeing that? But again, now we go back over to Team 1000 Neko. They needed support as the Ivy was locked in by Vellication. So Viscous, the strongest support in the game, my personal opinion. You can argue it or not. I like this pick.
Yeah, and I am actually liking how the front line is really developing here for the side of Neko Score. I mean, Kelvin, you can build him pretty tanky. Viscous, it just has some of that inherent tankiness with the goo ball, with the cube, things of that nature. So I think I'm really liking that, where it's versus the Abrams and the McGinnis kind of can build into that sort of tank vitality sort of thing. But yeah, I really like I think a Mirage we just heard is being picked up from Vellication, and can do a ton of damage, but it has a really high skill cap. You have to be very proficient with this character to be effective.
Yeah, well, hopefully, you know, that's why we didn't see it locked in. It's definitely not a comfort pick for this team Vellication, but they are locking in the Mirage. It is a little bugged right now, so keep in mind, pick number 5 here for Vellication is going to be that big damage dealer. Now, pick number 6 could be coming out here and seeing what they want to be locking in, and I think we got it, but yeah, because it looks like the hovering has moved over to pick number 6 here for Team 1000, so we're missing 2 of the picks. Number 6 also glitched. What is number 6? Bo and Krill, so they're bringing in more tankiness and CC. I think that's a solid pick against the pocket in Wraith, but that's what I was looking forward to. The Infernus as a just lock in to stop the damage, do a little bit more. So pretty happy about this, actually, to see the Infernus on this team comp, because they have the Lash, they have the Kelvin, and the Viscous for the tanky survivability, and then they have the rest doing damage. The only problem that I see with this team comp is going to be in the split push department. It's a lot of focus for this Wraith to do a lot of that damage to these objectives.
Yeah, I'm imagining items like Ricochet will be picked up as that kind of that tier item for the Infernus and for the Wraith, just to help, one, with clearing the jungle camps quickly, and two, in terms of that split push potential, taking down the walkers and things of that nature. So definitely that itemization is going to...
But also you have W key over on Lash, you have Qbert over on the Kelvin, and if we look over at this team, it's going to be very interesting to see how they actually perform with these. So pretty excited. Actually, wait, Vellication isn't on the team labeled Vellication. They took their team name and made it the enemy player's name. Am I crazy for that? Is that what I'm seeing?
I guess that's a little bit of a troll move, but what is not a troll move is that the Viscous has already secured the first blood. The Mirage has fallen there in lane number 1.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, Viscous starting off strong means he's going to get his ultimate a little bit faster, and Viscous is another character where he pops ultimate, he can gank really efficiently, but also he just has the survivability. And you look at this, again, this is just pugs for fun, so seeing who's going to be able to get that early lead might not matter, because some people maybe not the best at securing the late game, even if they have that early game lead.
Absolutely. So that's going to be, well, we're testing the team's communication as well, right? If the Mirage just starts to fall behind a little bit, they might ask for a little bit of resources, an early gank, something along those lines. We'll have maybe the Abrams come over there, maybe once he gets to that, ultimate mark, so we can do the jump in. Mirage can then follow up with some of that damage. An early goo ball in there to put in some early damage there that's going to force them back under the Guardian.
Yeah, we're seeing, if you just look at the top of the screen, right underneath Team 2, you got just a lot of people taking some damage. Luckily, the Ivy can be a character that helps try to balance things back out. But space created, farm created, it's already leading slightly in the hands of Team 1. They just have pretty much most of the last hit priority in these lanes. They're really able to just take a lot more space and just kind of go slow with it. They've already gotten the lead. They're just taking it pretty passive now. I'm looking at this Viscous, who's kind of just free to do whatever he wants right now, just scaring away this Mirage constantly and doing free damage, almost killing the Mirage. Actually, if I was that Mirage, I would be leaving right now, because this Viscous could start getting aggro, but no, it's the Abrams to jump on him.
And that's exactly what we were looking for. The shoulder charge expended, but the detective is on the chase, laying in the magma shots, and he goes for the kill, pops the bubble, and there goes the Viscous.
Wow, and another fight's going to be breaking out over here. The Kelvin, great combo, slow. Mo and Krill and Ivy on the back end. And, talk about the heavy and the medic. It's Ivy and the Mo and Krill. It's like I'm watching Team Fortress 2 in a different shade right now, seeing how these players are going to be able to split it off. And that survivability from the Mo and Krill and Ivy is going to make it so they can have those brawls, they can have those fights, and walk away relatively scot-free.
And I like the strategy coming out here from Team 2, where they put the more sustainable characters in the center lanes, so that way they can survive, they can secure some farm, hopefully get beefy enough that they can then counter some of the heavy damage output that is coming later in the game. So really like that, and obviously Krim's getting that kill onto the Viscous. A little injection of souls there can get another item online. I saw him there with the point blank and restorative shot. He'll be staying in lane for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, stay in the lane. I'm looking at the McGinnis, who might not have that, luxury here, getting dropped down quite a bit. But with the gank that the Abrams is able to pull off here, I do hope that they're going to be able to really turn this game around, as long as they keep with those very hefty ganks, especially as the Abrams is leading right now in the Souls department. But as we're seeing the artifact thing come through, I don't know if that's also on your screen. Yeah. We're looking at a slew is a good word here for the lack of feed right now.
Yeah, it looks like a Spectre has now, jumped into the camera, but the seismic impact does go through, clatters into a bunch of troopers. No enemy there found. Maybe they got a little bit of that lag spike too.
Well, during that lag spike, if you didn't notice, the pocket actually died. So let's try to pull open the scoreboard here as we're approaching the 4.5-minute mark, halfway through the early stage of the game. Seeing where the kills may be lying, seeing where this team might be able to showcase what they've got. Because right now with that pocket down, we have a 0-1 DPS. You do have the lead that Viscous got completely thrown out of the wayside thanks to Crims. The double gank killing out 2 players here. So this Abrams is definitely putting their team on their shoulders and saying, I got it in the early game, but look at this Mirage versus Viscous fight. This could be a trade-off, but I don't think the Mirage wins this.
No, definitely not. I think with how far ahead the Viscous is, they're going to take that trade every day of the week. The Jin's mark is just not going to come online fast enough to do enough damage to this goo ball here. And they have Hollow Point Ward online as well as the melee lifesteal, so they'll be hanging on in there. Slew, though, dangerously low, might have to take the zip line home. And there is a huge combustion in the duo lane there, just a bombing into the Mo and Krill. This is going to be the fight that they're looking for, the Infernus blastering into the opposition.
Well, I mean, with his ultimate popping, we also saw our observer's PC on fire. But looking at this, it's Krim who's on fire with a 3K killing spree. Slew managing to stay alive with 1 HP, but will Crims finally get taken out? He's incredibly low, and he's still alive. The pocket burn does not do enough here. Unfortunate the bleed to finish them both, and the... Wow, both of these players going right back to base to heal up to full. The power of pocket to keep people low but not secure those kills. It's like if you play Dota, which I know you have, the ultimate from Venomancer. It doesn't actually finish the job. It just gets you really annoyed.
Absolutely, and this is what we wanted to see from Neko Score. We wanted the Abrams to kind of take control here, and right now they're leading in the souls department almost at to 5k souls. That is a massive lead as we see another kill. Finally, the Infernus and Kelvin working together to finish the job. They take down the mole.
Wow, Mo and Krill, bye-bye to Ian here. Overall, this seems like a real back-and-forth game, especially with Crims and Slew, though, staying alive. But wait, the Mirage is going to the fight. But again, Crims is the savior of this game. Goes right on into the Viscous ult to save his teammate. But will we see Mary actually be able to finish him off? It looks like no. And now their ultimate is off cooldown. Are they going to be able to get out? Yeah, they will get out, but... Ooh, actually, we might see a slam here. Mary not going back to the tower, instead waiting and getting flanked instead. Very questionable decision there to not go under where you have the safety, but instead just waiting for their team to find you.
I gotta give him props, though. He gooballed at the perfect moment, so the shoulder charge didn't get the land the stun, but then he kind of got disoriented and wasn't able to retreat to his tower fast enough, because that, the controllability when you're in the goo ball can be a little bit tough sometimes, so they just got caught out, and then the detective doing what they do, investigated the scene and got the kill.
Yeah, just so clean. I mean, honestly, Crims, we were talking about early game in the game theory, the meta, what characters we could expect and start roaming. I did not expect an Abrams. Nobody expected an Abrams, but Crims here, just such a good metagame player, and doing it again by taking out the pocket, 4 kill spree. This guy's just going, okay, your lane, my lane.
And they're able to maneuver all over the map. Hopefully when we get to his character at some point, we can see what kind of item build he's going for. The Scarabs have to be launched here just to kind of shoo away the little Viscous ball and the tornado to get undercover here back to the shop. But that was a massive splatter. It's just doing huge damage, and a huge dive coming in from the Viscous as well. Probably going to take down the Mirage.
Yeah, took down the Mirage here, and he's still alive for now. He might be dead. There he goes. He's finally dead. But honestly, a decent round for this Vellication side. They're really turning around. So actually, when we were doing our picks and bans, the teams were flipped. So Vellication is the one that actually locked in the Wraith side of things. Neko Score doing the very interesting Crims. I'm going to call Neko Score Crims team because of the way he's playing right now.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to bring to folks' attention is that the Mirage has actually kind of regained some souls here. They're only like 200 down, and actually now they're tied here with the Viscous in the lane. So yes, they had a rough start. Yes, they've given over a couple of kills, but they've been farming like a mad person, and they've been able to kind of keep themselves in it. Still, though, the Crims on this Abram keeping that lead just all over the map here, securing kills for a squad.
Yeah, I mean, pretty solid here for just an Abrams. And if you don't know, the Abrams is a pick that if he can get to the late game, pretty much unstoppable if he's fed. In the early game, you usually don't see him explode this potently, but this player just knows how to play. And talking about a player knowing how to die, that mowing krill incredibly low, looking to be chased on, but no, will be able to get out of there. So overall, pretty dang solid. But as we see, a little bit of lag coming in, we could have the McGinnis catch these players off bound, but again, it's the back and forth of this mid fight. I'm just waiting for that Abrams to decide it's time to gank.
Yeah, and folks, the little lightning bolt, that is where the ultimate means it's online, so we know that the Abrams has his initiation tool, so you're absolutely right, my friend. Whenever they decide to go in for the slam, everyone will be there to follow up, especially if you can chain it with the stone form. That's going to lock anybody up, and here we have the Infernus here with the gank and the Kelvin on top, locking Kelvin him into the dome there, and absolutely melted is the Ivy.
That, honestly, the dome, the biggest flex about it wasn't the fact that it caught the Ivy. It's the fact that it was right on the border of the protection from the Guardian, stopping it in its tracks beautifully. A perfectly placed ultimate. It's kind of like when a Faceless Void chronospheres the tower with you right underneath it. Beautifully played, and honestly, that is the kind of gameplay I want to be seeing from this Kelvin. And now that I'm thinking about it, overall, Vellication has some really solid players that I think puts them on average higher than Neko Score, but Crims is just bringing that average all the way up with another kill here on the pocket possibly. Oh no, he's gonna have to leave. No, he gets him.
He found him in a dark alleyway and just murdered him. There is the detective. Gets a little bit of the leash now as the McGinnis does come through for him, and still Crims stays alive, just doing so much work, going for a huge melee build as well, my friend. Now we've reached the 10-minute mark, so the buff's coming online, the urn's coming online, and soon to be the mid boss.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Crim's build. I just watched him use that book in like a lady in a Catholic school, just absolutely hitting you over the head with it. It was insane to see that much damage, 50% of that player disappearing with one single stroke. So Crim's here already at double digits K. That is what you want to be seeing from their main carry. And honestly, we might see a gank onto them with the Infernus trying to catch up, but I don't know if Crims is going to be able to get out of this if we have more than just the one. Crims low, but the heal, the save, the pocket here by this slew player, the McGinnis, really keeping them alive. But overall, a lot of players on Neko Score are getting dangerously low to Vellication with all of these ultimates online.
For sure, and I'm trying to look at the Walker and the Guardian situation here. Doesn't seem to be any Guardians have fallen at this point, because I think having that first flex spot online is going to be critical for both of these squads who are kind of knotted up in terms of the soul distribution. So if you can get one of those, the couple Guardians down, get that flex spot, and then be able to use your souls in a more efficient manner, that is going to be huge, as we do see the Wraith losing the 1v1 on lane 4 here to the Vindicta.
Yeah, but now Mirage trying to jump on into this Viscous won't really be too successful. But yeah, as you said, with that pick onto, again, the DPS difference here, you look at the Vindicta, 2,000 soul lead as well on top of the Mirage, and those have been pretty much having a solo lane the entire time. So really, it's a lane diff. Trevi actually cooking the namesake here of Vellication in that one lane, allowing, one, the space being created by Crims to not have to be impacting their lane whatsoever, just saying, okay, it's a 1v1, I'll keep it that way. But Mirage jumping on in, might be able to find this Viscous, but again, it's just escape versus escape, and damage not quite there yet.
But it's going to be dangerous. The longer this game goes, the more damage that this Mirage will be able to do. But I kind of like the point that you made about the Vindicta and the Wraith kind of just being on the island there. They're kind of in the off lane, if you will, where they're just going to have their own match. I don't think the Abrams has even gone to that side of the map yet. They know where they need to play, who they need to facilitate, and here it is. Crims once again coming up with a kill.
Wow. And look at that, though. It's the pocket to be able to take out the Mirage with a good gang from them. You were expecting that in that early game. In the pre-game, we talked about it. But I will also say, when I look at these two teams, I just love the way that this game splits people up. It's a 6v6, yeah, 4 lanes, but if we think about just traditional MOBAs like Dota, you know, you have the bottom lanes being what's really mattering for these teams, but in Deadlock, it's actually the mid lane is where you have the support and carry combo, and the off lanes are now your top or bottom for the solo lanes. If we go back to like Dota 1, where you have just a top laner and you have a mid laner. But it's so interesting to see how this map has completely shifted your traditional MOBA.
And that's what Valve does. They innovate. They want to mix it up. They want to keep the players guessing. They want that mental flexibility through all of their games, and that's what they bring here in Deadlock. Something I'd like to see is the Lash get more involved. The Lash is known for moving around the map, kind of like Spider-Man in New York, right? He's supposed to be all over the lanes. Really haven't seen much movement from him, and he only has 8k souls at this point. So it's like, can I even start ganking the other lanes, because I'm still not at the item timings I want to be at for Whereas they've lost 3 people so far, but all the while the Wraith is just pushing all the way towards the base. That's exactly what you were saying that she needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do to split it up. Looks like Crims has finally lost his streak. I do want to say apologies for us going from, oh, we're in 10-minute game. Okay, there's a 5k soul lead. Now we're up to the 100,000 souls, 150,000 souls average for both of these two teams. So welcome, guys, to the late game. We skipped the mid game. Things have been happening. It's very interesting to see how this game has developed. And pretty much it's been, wait a minute, the comeback mechanic of this Infernus is 7-0. So if we can assume what happened in the mid game is Fireboy started doing Fireboy things.
Yeah, looks like he's going full gun build as well. Hasn't died yet, but we know, yeah, that catch-up mechanic that's been introduced where the heroes give up more souls later in the game, that's going the way of Vellication. They've won maybe those team fights that we were talking about, friend, over the urn and the mid boss, etc. So they've firmly put themselves on the front foot, and they've taken down all of the walkers and all of the guardians.
Yeah, these guys are objective farming right now, and it looks like they're doing it again by taking on the urn. This is some really just solid objective gameplay from Vellication, but the kills are going to be in the hands of this Vindicta and Abrams still on the side of Neko Score as they're jumping these players trying to find that urn carrier, but I think he's just going to be able to walk on away. A little fight breaking out in the left-hand lane, and they get a kill right on a Vellication. Bye-bye to the split pusher, bye-bye to the Wraith, and overall, you're seeing that this team is incredibly grouped up here for Neko Score.
I mean, they had to bring all those numbers to take down the carry. They had to bring everything to make sure that Wraith didn't escape and got punished, but now the rest of the map is a little bit open. The urn fight could be commencing shortly. It looks like somebody's carrying it all the way back from the Sapphire Flame base, and we still have a skirmish over here in lane number 1. There's the Affliction, massive onto 2. The Ivy and the Mo and Krill trying to survive there. The goo ball does come crashing into a number of folks, and the Mo and Krill does go down. Ivy might not be long for this world as well, unless she can use the fly to get away. It looks like finally the Lash is hopping themselves into this fight, slamming down into multiple members, and the Vindicta just raining bullets from above.
Wow. I mean, Vindicta's getting free range of above, but look at who's on the ground. If you're stuck on the floor right now, you are getting floored right now. That's Vellication just bullying anybody who's not in the air. And now you're going to be seeing just a complete push up here. Lots of shrines being taken. You have Crims trying to slow these players. This, of course, Kelvin being able to try to slide away, and he gets the walker on the way out thanks to the troopers. But honestly, amazing gameplay from Vellication to recognize we're winning a fight over here. Let's distract these players, keep split pushing thanks to the Kelvin. But can we actually see these players getting out? Kelvin's getting bullied here, and punch. Holy, that's 40%. Just gone.
My goodness, just brutality over there in the alleyways. But dude, the base was ransacked. Neko Score just lost all their points because the shrines went down. Some of their base guardians went down as well. So that was a detrimental trade there for taking down the Wraith, but you allowed 3 members to ransack your base and steal a bunch of goods.
Yeah, beautifully played. I gotta hand it here. Very close game now. You still have no shrines remaining. The patron already weakened here for the Amber team. This is Vellication proving, okay, we have the objective advantage, and they're gonna keep it going. Crims, though, trying to go, but McGinnis seems to wall off his own teammate there, and it could be a problem with now them getting jumped a little bit late here, waiting for his team. This is a big team fight.
Another Affliction there from the Pocket is really facilitating the rest of his members to do so much work. The Cube has to go in to save the Pocket this time, but the Abrams, he's on the hunt. He's punching people left and right. The Goo Ball is able to just roll right out of there, tries to cube himself and can't. The Abrams is on the hunt. They're on a 4-player kill streak with still so much health to their name. Who else is in their sights now? Somebody is running away from him. It might be the Lash, but the Mo and Krill, it is actually the Wraith there. Apologies, gets the combo and gets the stack.
I wouldn't even call that a DPS. That guy's chunking it. He's just ripping things out. It's like a sawed-off shotgun to a man's torso every time he clicks, and that's going to give him some space to grab the urn. I mean, the biggest play style that I see Vellication doing is they see Crims, they turn the other way. They know that they are not strong enough. Even the Infernus, who is absolutely cooking right now, isn't strong enough to take out this Abrams. But you talk about the Abrams, and you watch as he moves the urn and gets this rejuvenator for the team. The Ivy tries to steal it, and McGinnis tries everything, and they can't. Beautiful steal. Beautiful for Neko.
And that's the kind of macro play that we look for, right? If you get 3 kills, you know you're going to have the numbers advantage. Start taking all the objectives, choke the map out from your opposition. So that's mid boss, that's earned, that's a ton of souls going your way. They're not out of 10k soul lead. You did see Qbert there. He was like, well, there's some other tiny objectives. That's a buff that I won't let them have as I'm running for my life. So he does steal the bridge buff there, which is a good little snag, but still love the macro play coming out here from Neko Score. The teeter-totter has now flipped in their favor.
Oh, absolutely. I gotta hand it to this Abrams. If we talk about macro, ever since minute 1, his rotates, his ganks, they've all been pretty much the best that I've seen from a long time. And if Crims is the player to do it, then you guys got to keep out for this team, because honestly, yes, this is collegiate, but some of these players are going to get scouted by some bigger orgs soon enough, and we might be seeing Crims keep up the cookage. But ooh, Vellication again getting absolutely beamed here by that Vindicta, who's, I think, the entirety of this game had that lead over this Wraith.
Absolutely, and they just, I think, assassinated them from downtown, and now the Sapphire Flames base is just getting obliterated left and right. Another combo comes through from the side of Mo and Krill, and they don't get the kill this time, but a ton of damage has been inflicted. Here is the Viscous just kind of shooting everybody from top of and safety area. The McGinnis is the one to fall down, but the Abrams with a double kill.
Double kill up, and another one here. Crims taking out the Lash, and surprise, surprise, we still haven't seen the Kelvin ult, which could save his team in the heat of the moment. Qbert kind of sitting a back seat to watching his team, his shrines, his everything falling apart, and looks like the rescue beam is going to save it, but Qbert, he's just in their spawn right now. I think they're just going to let this game end. There's not a whole lot of opportunity that they have. Once the patron is transforming, it's going to do its final transformation into being 6 feet deep.
Yeah, I think Qbert's kind of like the dog sitting in the flames saying everything's fine right now as the base is just crumbling around him, and it will be 5 members of Neko Score collapsing on this weakened patron. They want to take down the flame. They want to extinguish it. They're putting in a ton of damage. This game is just about over. Just a few more pumps of bullets, and there it is. Neko Score takes
position,
round 1.
But you can have the best team comp.